are back, man.
What's up?
Episode 25.
All the way live.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, man, I learned how to rap.
Hey, man, you started to bring the raps in.
Hey,
You
man,
started to bring the rhymes in.
Hey, I don't want to manage no more. I want to be a rapper, man.
Hey, man, okay. Well, you know what, man? I'm going to manage you this time. I'm going to get behind your mixtape.
Hey, man.
We're going to push it, man.
All the way live for 25. That's what it's going to be called.
I don't think we're going to make any money off of it, but, hey, I got you, my brother.
We're going to go double wood.
Oh, man, hey, it's going to be more successful than that. All right?
Cool,
So,
cool.
look, man, when we first started this, I laid out some dream interviews for you, right?
For sure.
I told you who are some people that I really wanted to interview, right?
Yes, you did.
And one of the names that I said was on my list of dream interviews was none other than the man we have sitting here with us.
And who we got today, man? Who we got?
Man, we have the world famous. I'm talking about one of Atlanta's legends, one of the great people who has done so much to build the city of Atlanta up. If you don't know who he is, then you ain't been in Atlanta or you've been under a rock.
Somewhere.
Hey, man, listen. For those that don't know, give it up, man. I'm talking about for one of my idols when it comes to anything
For
Atlanta
sure.
and entertainment. None other than Ryan Cameron. Y'all give it up for my guy, man.
Yeah, man. What's up, bro?
Hello.
So look, Ryan, seriously, man, I told B Rich that you were one of the dream interviews for me.
For
Personally,
sure.
right?
We both did.
I mean, going back to being 16, 17 years old, top 8 of 8, you on V103, you playing songs like you've been a voice of a long part of our lives. Like anybody who grew up in the city of Atlanta during the era where you were on the radio, you have been a huge part of our lives. So I thank you for coming on the show. I thank you for being who you are to the city of Atlanta, and we just appreciate you on behalf of the Waterboyz Show, myself and B Rich,
I appreciate
and everybody else.
And Aaron won't pick it.
And Aaron had to get his voice in, didn't he?
Had to. Shout out to Aaron.
Shout out to Aaron.
Hey,
Behind the scenes.
go ahead,
Go
man.
ahead, man.
Hey,
So
so what you got going on right now, man?
What you mean, man? I mean,
What's going on with Ryan Cameron,
I'm just
man?
trying to stay out the way, man. You know, it's so many things that, you know, we got the season coming up with the Birds. You know, we got the preseason game coming up against the Jaguars on Friday. And then, I mean, the teams we playing this year, it's going to be one of those things where hopefully the real fans will show up because, you know, when you talk about the Steelers, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs, you know, in most cities, they just come in and take over.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're getting ready for that.
Yeah.
But I think I heard yesterday from one of the executives that all the season tickets were sold out for this year, which means that, you know, that people are really excited about the team. So right now, it's all football.
So tell me, where do you think that excitement is coming from?
It's Raheem.
Yeah.
It's Raheem. I mean, it's Raheem. It's Kirk Cousins. It's the fact that, you know, not to go against anybody who's been here in the past, but, you know, we just kind of just holding on. I mean, I host a pep rally every year at Atlantic Station for thousands of people, and then we all get up in there and be like Super Bowl or bust, and it's bust most of the time. Well, since, you know, been a minute. So this year, man, I just think, you know, Raheem's second coming is going to be good for us. I think the swagger is back. I think it's unlike DQ. I think that the people believe as well as the players. Sometimes it kind of go on both sides. Sometimes the players be in, the people ain't. But I think this year, Raheem gonna do it.
I do too. We actually broke the curse, man, the Atlanta
Yes,
Sports
we
curse
did.
last
We
week
broke
with
the Atlanta Sports curse.
Brandon home team Brandon Leak. We broke the curse with him, man.
Yeah.
So what we
what
did,
what was the curse?
you know, the sports curse, man. The Falcons always.
Well, what Brandon got to do
I
with
mean,
it?
it was
You
just
know,
that-
Brandon got a little bitty look. He got a teacup dog.
No.
So, oh my God, man, you can't respect nobody.
Oh, man, don't do him
Brandon,
like
what's up?
Brandon.
Don't do him like
I was
that.
in the grocery store one day and I saw somebody like holding this little dog getting some cheese, and I was like,
Don't do
yo.
home team like that.
Brandon, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I was like, yo. I was like, Brandon, is that your? He's like, oh, this is my wife's dog. That means it's your dog.
So we had a thing where when we first started, Trey
Yeah.
did he called it sports bars.
Yeah.
And so he did something called 283, and he kind of wrapped up. He kind of like told a story about the Falcons losing 283. And so that kind of would hit. Our first clip was our second post. We got like 800,000 views on it.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing sports bars ever since. So last week we did 2 weeks ago we did sports bars on breaking the Atlanta curse. Matter of fact, since you're here, we want, man, go ahead and do this curse for Ryan, break the curse with Ryan. Because
Man, you want me to do the curse again?
yes,
Ryan?
man, because he's Atlanta, and we need to. He needs to. What's the word for it? Crescent it.
Crescent
it, man. Christen it.
Christen. Yeah.
Crescent it.
Yeah, public school.
man.
Public school.
Crescent it,
Public
man.
school.
Crescent
Reggie.
I thought the man was finna say croissant for a second. I didn't know.
Hey, from Burger King.
Hey man, but on top of the curse, now I did. So since we broke the curse, now I did write something new.
Oh, you wrote something new?
Man, to celebrate the Falcon season.
Okay.
So you say you do a pep rally.
Yep.
What I have to say, Ryan, I'm telling you, is just fit for a pep rally. It's fit for the city of Atlanta.
All right, let's hear it.
Would you like to hear, my
Come
brother?
on, man.
All
All right, man. Since we finally broke the curse, y'all already know what it is. It's a brand new year, brand new season, because 79 wasn't standing on biz.
Right.
So after blank, he gassed up the jet and brought Coach Raheem back to the A. And Ryan, we calling this our little scrappy year. Head busting the Panthers in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Got a cousin with $100 million arm to take us to new altitudes. And Bajan, well, you know, he on his Ray Charles run. You know, he make it do what it do.
Right.
Drake London, he about to act a fool.
Yeah.
I can already hear the DBs crying. And Kyle Pitts, he about to have a career year and go stupid like he did with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Grady Jarrett, he back and about to feast. Jesse Bates, whoo, that boy a beast.
Yeah.
And it ain't no love for the New Orleans Saints, because the New Orleans Saints for the streets.
Yeah.
It's Falcon time. Call somebody. Let them know that this is our year. And please send some praying hand emojis for the safeties trying to tackle last year. This for my folk on Gresham Road, south to Old Nat, North Georgia back to Bankhead. And since the whole season sold out, Ryan, you know we about to bust the whole league across the head. Go Falcons.
Right. That was
There we
hard.
go,
That was
man.
hard, man.
There we go. Now, that's not pep rally material. I don't know what
You know
it
what?
is.
We might need to bring you on stage to do that, man. I mean, because you
That's
did that
hard.
Jay-Z without any paper,
Hey,
no
man.
bars. You just came off the dome.
Hey, man, I felt like he was rapping.
Go, man. What you gonna do?
Hey, I don't do that. I manage it, man.
Answer something, be rich.
I had to ad
You wanna
libs. I had
ball
ad libs, man. Jesus style,
You gonna
man.
carry me like the Migos, mama.
Falcons.
Hey, man. Hey.
That was fly,
You
man.
did a Birdman bird noise.
Hey, you know
For
what?
the Falcons.
There we go.
You do the hand roll. Yeah, man. Well, we just like to have fun and represent the team. But we did break the curse. I do feel like the curse is broken.
We're going to Super Bowl, and we're going to win it this year, Ryan.
He said it, Ryan.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Mark my words.
So let me ask you this. With you working for the Falcons and being a part of the organization, if the Falcons win the Super Bowl, I heard somebody ask you this back when we went to the Super Bowl in 2016. I can't remember what your answer was, so I want to ask you again.
Yeah.
Will you also get one of the rings for the
Oh,
Falcons winning the Super
yeah,
Bowl?
most definitely. I mean, you know, when we got the NFC Championship, they gave out rings for that, and I was like, I didn't really want to get that. I mean, you know, the rings I got for all the Hall of Fames and, you know, Black Radio and Georgia Radio and all this. I mean, it'd be great to have another piece of hardware, but I mean, a Super Bowl or bust. So,
Oh, wow.
you know, no championships. No league. No, you know, we can't hold up no in-season tournament banners. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I know Lakers fans still mad about it.
Yeah, they still mad about
Now, let
it.
me tell you a story. So after the 2016 Super Bowl, man, you know, I was on the phone with you. I was mad, man. I was cussing. I was upset, and I caught the first flight back, man. I couldn't. I had to get the hell on.
Yeah.
And it was like a funeral. Like I literally like I lost somebody. Like it felt like that. And the first person I saw at the airport was this man, bro.
Yep.
Like, and we was sad, bro. Like it was somber. Like it felt good to see him, man. I just wanted to hug him, man. Like what the hell happened, man? It was just I couldn't believe it. And just seeing you at the airport that day, man, just a memory that I have about that Super Bowl, man. The first thing I saw, man, like I just couldn't believe that, man. But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna redeem ourselves this year.
I mean,
hope so.
going to, you know, being in Houston for that game, and I remember at halftime my phone just blowing up, and they was like, "Man, they putting up the barricades," and I was like, "Man, don't put up the barricades," because that man on the other side of the field, and it was funny because none of the Patriots fans, we're all on the same row. They didn't say nothing, right? The whole entire game until we got to overtime, and then all of a sudden, I found myself surrounded by like 15 Patriot jerseys. They was just pointing at me, "Yeah, it's over, it's over, it's over," and I was just like, where was y'all at the beginning? Where, you know, where that energy come from now?
Right, bro.
But I
Yes.
mean, once we lost the coin flip, man, you know, and we went in the over. I mean, we already know what it is, man. And people in New Orleans, that's they go to. You know, whenever we start talking trash, they gonna bring up the 28-3. But like you said, I mean, watching what happened with the Braves and Atlanta United, and you know, it's about time, man. No, we gonna be all right.
Why not our year? Why not, bro? It gotta be.
If New Orleans, and think about it, you know, if there's a script writer, as they always say, what better script for Atlanta fans than to win the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Oh, it's in New Orleans this year? Oh, this it.
Yes.
Bro, I didn't know that. That's how it's gonna go. We gonna win the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
I'm just
bro.
kidding, but it's not in New Orleans. Go ahead.
Why are you playing with me?
Because I mean, I just want to tell you.
Is it in New Orleans or not?
No,
I can't remember, but I do know.
it's not
But
New
I
Orleans.
do know this.
It's not New Orleans.
But I do know this.
Man, he done get the
but
hook out
listen,
my mouth, man.
When we went to
You
the,
ain't shit, man.
but look,
I forgot he a comedian too, man.
hey, but look,
Yeah.
look, when we went to the NFC Championship game in 2012, the Super Bowl was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we were one game, a few plays from being able to play for a Super Bowl in New
That's when we
Orleans.
played the 49ers, right?
Yep, that's when we
Yeah,
played
yeah,
the 49ers.
yeah.
Yep. Because remember, the lights went out on the Ravens. And,
Oh, yeah,
and
I remember
the
that game.
49ers
Yeah.
in New Orleans,
Yeah.
man. That was that particular year, man. But we're going to do some good things, man. We're going to do some good things. So I know you had so much you wanted to ask.
So I want to take it.
Rich.
I want to take it back, Ryan. Like back when I was in college, and you was at V103, and Hot 97.5 was starting up.
Yeah.
And it just was like just playing 24 hours, no personalities or whatever. And then Mike Roberts was the guy at V103, the morning guy. And I think when you came to 97.5, you start off at the morning show.
Yeah.
So like, how was it starting off a new radio station and having to go up against a legend like Mike Roberts, and then on top of that, that station 97.5 represented the start of Atlanta hip hop to me, the new,
Right.
the old Atlanta. Like I feel like you kind of like are a bridge between old Atlanta and new Atlanta. You're both to me. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So that to me was the start of old Atlanta. So can kind of tell me about like when it was playing and how you decided to leave V103 and head to 97.5 and how you was feeling.
I mean, I think, you know, in that year when I left, I was working nights, and my contract was up, and I had like 3 offers. One was to be, and you'll love this, to be the mix show coordinator to go for Columbia Records. They wanted me to go into the nightclubs and run records. And then another one was to stay at V and continue the night show. And the third
was
one,
6 to 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
6 to 9.
It was 6 to 9.
6 to
It
9.
wasn't even 4 hours.
It was only 3 hours.
And then George Littell was coming
Yeah,
in.
and then they came in with a quiet storm. But the last one was the fact that it was, Alfred Liggins sent me a 2-way one day, which is so funny.
Okay.
I was actually living down here, and he was like, "Yo, my name is Alfred Liggins. I own WKYS in Washington, D.C., and we would love for you to come up there and do mornings." I thought it was a joke. And I went back and what they offered me, and they said, let's try it out. And I had never lived outside the city before.
Okay.
So going from being Atlanta born, Zone 1 to the fullest, to moving to Washington, D.C., and back then they had a non-compete, which means you can't work anywhere for 6 months within the market, within 50-mile radius. So basically, they gave me a chance to go up there and learn how to do mornings. If they just would have said, "Nah, go ahead," I would have been awful. But going to Washington, D.C., the heart of the government, where everybody had good jobs. You had the Governor Glenn Denning up there. You had everybody. It was what Atlanta is now, as far as being the mecca of everything, because everybody had a title. And going up there and learning how to do morning radio, it was like when Ja Morant came into the league. I wasn't worried about Mike Roberts. I wasn't worried about none of that. I was just like, give me my shot. So the very first song that was played, a lot of people, this is like a history. July 5th of that year. We came on, we played One More Chance by Biggie. And some people want to say it's the Goody Mob, but it was not the Goody Mob. So we had One More Chance playing, and we was driving around the city trying to see if you could pick up the signal, because that was always a big thing, is that you could get 97.5 in certain areas. So, and people, I can hear it. And we just kept looping that song, Jerry Smoking B at the transmitter, kept looping that song over and over again. And then when it was time, when we got the Olympics to start, they said, "Hey man, you want to go back to Atlanta?" And I was like, man, come on, man, say less. And got here, and you know, kind of the rest is history. You know, for me, starting out as an intern at V, and then coming back here to do the morning show was like a full circle moment. It was huge.
Now, like, that was like, to me, that was the start of something. I just remember just like, man, this is like like, cause you know, like back then, like when they played rap music, it was in the evening. You know, like this is a 24.
I was the one who played rap music. So you telling me
I'm saying that for the people that's watching.
Why you looking at me? I'm the one who did it. It was me.
Right, yeah.
You should have been like, Ryan, when you played.
Jump on me, man.
Yeah, look.
I can take it.
You could only play rap music at night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything that was played. You know, we had the Fresh Party, which
Yes.
is on
Tony
Friday. Well, Darren Fears. Gotta give Darren his flowers. Darren Fears, Tommy Fix.
Yes.
You know, may he rest in peace. It was like that mix show on the end, and then you know on Saturday we had the Saturday Night Jam, which was on from 7 to midnight. But the only time you could hear rap music, because Mike Roberts, as a program director, was very, very afraid of rap music. Okay. Very afraid of rap music.
That's what I wanted to
When they first, the rap song that they thought was so controversial was Double Dutch Bus.
Oh, the Double Dutch Bus? They thought was...
They played that in the morning like they had played some Biggie.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it was that controversial. So, I mean, the only time you could hear it, because I came out of college at West Georgia, and I was hosting a show called Kaleidoscope, and basically that was the only time we played rap music. So I was down there with DJ Slash, and he had turntables that were belt-driven, and he was mixing and scratching off a belt-drive turntable. That's how dope he was. So I came out of college, like, just ready to go. But, yeah, I was the one.
You was the one that started.
He
No,
was
I
the
done started.
No.
But it only landed in my day part.
And that's what I'm trying to say, that you kind of...
Well, say it to the people.
Okay, well, look, y'all, what I'm trying to say is that
I'm enjoying
when
this.
97.5 came out, man, like, that was the start of something big. Like, we heard rap music throughout the day, 24 hours.
yes.
All day long.
You know, and it was like, what the hell? Like, I wasn't used to that. I went to Albany State, and I just remember coming back, driving back.
Oh, so when you came back, the station was
The
here,
station
and
was
you
in
were
the-
like, wow.
And I didn't hear no voices. I'm like, they're not gonna have no voices? He's just gonna play music?
Oh, just a continuous mixtape,
Yeah,
huh?
well, this is a mixtape right here, and they jamming. And so, then when they started with the personalities and you did the morning show, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they playing rap in the daytime? So, like, y'all don't know, it's a big deal. Like, it was a big deal coming up because we didn't get a chance to see, hear the music until the evening.
That's
and
right.
then we couldn't even hear the videos until
Midnight.
Arnell Starr.
Arnell
Right.
Star.
You know,
American
so,
Rap
like,
Makers.
so we used to wait like on Friday nights and be late to parties and stuff to watch the new videos because I knew I wanted to catch cell therapy and all that.
You know what I want to ask you, Ryan? So I was talking about some younger days and a friend of mine who passed, and I was just talking about our time together growing up, and I said, sometimes you don't realize that you're in some of the greatest times of your life when you live in them. So I want to ask you, that time, that start of 97.5, that start of that bubble for Atlanta, right before the Olympics, did you feel a sense that this is going to be one of the greatest times for Atlanta? Like, did you feel what it was about to become?
Yeah, I thought, you know, once the station launched and we could, you know, be heard, I thought the main thing was that people were starving to have that kind of music all day long, all night long. And, you know, I remember the very first advertiser was Alex Gidwan. You know, when before they was AG, it was just Alex and coming on and doing all the clubs and doing all the stuff. And it was just a big deal for us. You know, I was talking to Mary Catherine Sneed, who was one of the people who started it. She was like, we were giving away advertising. We just wanted to have commercials to make the radio station seem legit. So there was people on the radio station that wasn't paying. It was just like, man, yeah, see, they got commercials now. You know, that was a big deal. They got commercials now. They for real. But the climate, man, me and Ramona DeBro and
Crash D.
and Crash D. I mean,
Yeah.
and seeing what all these people have become now. Crash D's a big TV star, and Ramona's doing movies, and you know, so many other things. And
you've
and look
broken-
at Chris, and I mean, you know, it's a big deal.
Man, you've broken a lot of people. We have L. Duncan, we have Rashawn Ali. It's a lot of people.
You got to go way back. You got to go. I was the first person to play. You know, I was talking to T-Boz and Chili the other day. They came on the radio station, and Lamont Bowles from LaFace Records. We played their entire album, and callers called in and picked the first song. It had never been done, and so they picked, either "What About Your Friends" or "Ain't Too Proud to Beg." And I remember when they first came on, we thought they was rappers because of the way they was dressed.
Yeah.
Monica was discovered in my talent show
Wow.
when she was 12.
Wow.
I did right down the street at Center Stage. I did this thing I had a great idea called the Talented 20 Showcase. It's a great idea on paper. I wanted to have 20 of the best female vocalists in the city compete for $1,000. And man, I sold no tickets. and Yo-Yo was my celebrity, MC. And when Monica won, she had on tie-dyed purple, and she sang Whitney Houston. And who was in the audience? Somebody from Dallas Austin Records. Dave Gates was there.
Okay.
And she got discovered that night, and it went on to become that iconic album that Dallas produced. So, we've had the footprint on a lot of different things in the city, man. So I'm always I'm always looking to help people try to grow, man. Even to this day, there's so many personalities out there that I see, like the Maisha Simones and other people that are on the radio right now. So it's kind of like even part-time that are really doing big things.
Man, yeah, like that. That's great. I remember, you did a lot of remotes. You used to do a comedy show.
That's right.
I remember one time Music Soul Child was there. We was out Roswell or something, up near there. You had a comedy show. And
112, the comedy show, the Apollo Night at 112 was the most famous one.
Okay.
Like, I remember somebody put up pictures. They was like, if you remember this, then you really Atlanta. And there was a picture of 112 with people lined up outside.
Oh, wow.
And then if you zoomed in on the marquee, I said, yeah, because that's my name on the marquee.
Hey, I want to ask you this. So I know what my favorite interview that you did. A lot of people you interviewed. What's one of your most favorite interviews that you did and you were kind of nervous about?
With me, man, I get a lot of different opportunities, but I always tell people, like, even when y'all are interviewing people, I always start, I think if you want to piss people off, you start off with a really difficult question, right? So I always do my interviews like this, like it's a beach ball. Hey, man, how's the fam? The softball a little tighter, then you throw them with that sinker, with that BB, after they get kind of comfortable and forget the mics are on. For me, I think one of the biggest interviews I've done was I actually was in the Versace store, and the guy who actually owns Umi, the sushi place, used to be the manager of the Versace store.
Okay.
So Elton John was always in the Versace store. So him and Fasheed, who was the manager and owner of Umi, the sushi place now, they headed off. And Elton John was like, man, you should come manage me. And so he went from being the manager of the Versace store to managing one of the biggest acts in the world.
Wow.
And one day I was like, man, you should let me interview Elton John. He's like, man, I'll try. And I was like, no, go ahead. And Elton John said, yeah. And we went to this penthouse.
It was
the
King and Queen Towers.
No. This is in Buckhead.
Oh, okay.
He had 2 floors. And as a matter of fact, they just sold it. He gutted out both sides and had 2 floors, and it's supposed to be a 30-minute interview, and we ended up staying there for 2.5 hours.
Bro,
Wow.
So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That was my favorite interview that you did. And I remember you doing that interview.
Oh, word?
Yes, that's what I tell you.
That's the interview that he wanted to
The
ask
Elton
you
John
about.
one?
Yes, so I wanted to ask you
That's
about
hilarious.
So I wanted to ask you about that interview. I remember everything about the interview. You said he came down and said peekaboo. Tell us that
Yeah,
story.
man,
bro.
and he was just so over the top. And we taped everything. And some of the things that he said, they called us. Like I said, once the microphones become so comfortable, you forget. They called us back the next day and said, hey, man, please don't air this part. Please don't air this part. Please don't air this part. Because he was talking about stuff that today would make headlines. So I always say, if there ever comes a time when he's no longer with us, boy, that book going to be hell. Boy. It was for real.
Man, that was like, to me, when you did that interview, I forgot what year it was, and I know you was like.
I tell you what, we gave away cars called Daewoo's. That was a car.
Man,
we gave away a car a day for 20 days, and the sound, the cue to call was for people. It was Elton John. I got him to say, hey, you, Daewoo. And people would call in. I don't know what happened to them damn cars, man.
I haven't seen it.
It's like the DeLorean.
If I see someone driving a Daewoo, I'm going to give you $100.
Daewoo, yeah.
Man, I remember that. It was giving away cars.
We gave away a car every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he helped us endorse that. I mean, today you could never get nobody like that to do something like that. that. But like I said, we just hit it off that big, man.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, one of my favorite things that you brought back with you from D.C. on the morning show, and it's not an interview, but, man, I used to crack up at the Mickey Mouse skits. Well, and I know one in particular during the Olympics, Mickey Mouse got robbed. He was waiting. Mickey Mouse, I think, was waiting on some tickets or something for the Olympics. Someone knocks on the door. He said, "Hold on, Ryan. I gotta go get my tickets." He goes and Mickey Mouse gets robbed. And he comes back and curses Ryan and the crew out, man. Please tell us, like, how did you guys come up with those skits? Who was the voice behind? I didn't know if you were.
It was not
the
me.
voice. Okay.
So that's the legendary Russ Parr. And Russ started doing Mickey and Barney and the cursing Mickey back in the day. And it got to be so popular that actually another radio station we was in Disney World and did Mickey. And they sent a tape of us doing Mickey to Disney World to try to get us banned from it.
Whoa!
And that's how big it was. But, Russ would always do it freestyle, right off the cuff, man. I got to send you.
Off the dome, bro?
Yeah, man. And he would, the way he would do it, he'd be like talking, then he hit the pound button to make the noise like, "Hey, Ryan, you stupid mother beep," and then and do that. But it was always so classic, man, that the fact that he was that talented. I mean, he's been on the radio for so long. He's now doing his own TV show, and he's doing movies as well, man. And I'm glad you remember that, because Mickey, my favorite one was Mickey versus Barney.
I remember that.
Yeah, and
they were going at it.
Yeah, they would always be fighting.
Do you still have those?
Oh yeah, I got a couple on my tape, but Mickey versus Barney, and he be doing both voices. I mean, he's a genius, man.
Man, you got to put those on YouTube, man. Make some real big.
Hey, man.
Let me tell you, man, I used to live for those skits, man. I used to live for those skits. Another moment, I'm trying to remember, and I think it was your show where we had, was it Bill Campbell and Marvin Arrington was talking?
Back before everybody became like so politically correct, hip hop, is the reason that Bill Campbell is mayor, and it goes down in history because Marvin Arrington was city council president, Bill Campbell was an incumbent, and they were pretty much neck and neck and tied with polls. And so the station was so big, we decided to do a debate. And we did a debate in College Park, in the conference room, downstairs on Old Nat L, and they started arguing and going back and forth. And that's what we'd have, no social media. It was all the newspaper, and Bill Campbell said something, and Marvin Arrington said, may he rest in peace, senior, he said, when you and Maynard were out there passing.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
And it became it changed the election.
It did.
It changed the election because, they basically was trying to insinuate that Maynard Jackson and Bill Campbell were passing for white.
Yes.
And it made the city so upset, man.
Yes,
It swung the election into Bill Campbell's favor, and he always talks about that. I mean, regardless of what happened with Freaknik and everything else, but that hip-hop was that mayoral race, and you should give hip-hop credit.
Man, because I remember he came back and said, he said, passing what?
Encyclopedias.
Pass what? He said, he was passing out encyclopedias. I said, well, at least he quit with the comeback.
Can I say, man, it's so funny, when you do this for so long that y'all remember that stuff, because you got to remember, when you're on the radio, basically, you talking to yourself.
Man, you was the soundtrack of our life, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I appreciate that. For you to remember that and you to remember Elton John, that's crazy.
Look, I was about to say exactly what B. Rich said. Like, you were living it, you were in the moment. And that's why I said, sometimes you don't realize, maybe you do realize you're living in some of the greatest moments of your life.
Yeah.
Like, you played a part in a lot of moments that we remember. But I do want to ask you this, one second, B. Rich. I do want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the city of Atlanta has finally got the respect that it deserves over the years, whether it's entertainment, sports, or just how great of a city it is?
I mean, when I was on another show, I talked about Atlanta nightlife, and it went viral because of how I felt that the city had changed. But to answer your question, I don't think Atlanta really wants the respect because this is a city of mavericks. You got to look at the people who are from here that have never been like anybody else. You go all the way from Dr. King to Hank Aaron, to Evander, and then I said the other day, and people were trying to get mad about it, and you will feel this. If we did an Atlanta, Georgia, or a Georgia-only tour, all the acts had to be from Georgia. It could go around the world because it'd be everybody. It would be everybody. Everybody from B.O.B. to Migos to Outkast to I mean, think about it. If you just all
Monica.
Atlanta. Just all Atlanta. There's nobody in the country that, because everybody else is kind of sounds the same, but Atlanta we're Mavericks, man. So we don't really want the respect. You know what I'm saying? It's like we do what we do. This is Wakanda, man. We know that.
I love that. I love that answer right there.
That was a great answer, man.
Man, as they say, that's so Atlanta.
Wow, we're gonna clip that one up. I can see us clipping that one up. That was good, man.
Yeah, we don't care about all that, man.
And that made me forget my question, bro. That was,
man, I mean, it's so many questions.
Man, it is
that we have, and I don't want to skip too far ahead.
Nice shirt though.
That's hey man.
Oh, what's that?
I was gonna ask you what's this right here? Oh man, well this sir is the world famous brand that we already let
What's
it be
the name
known.
of it?
Triple OG.
Oh, I thought it was OG. It's
Nah, man, it's Triple
Yeah.
OG, and we're sitting here with one of the Triple OGs of the city, man. This particular brand, like this shirt here, man.
Yeah.
Our boy Stacey Woods, who was the creative
Stacey
director.
Lace, Stacey Lace.
Stacey Lace, man. Him and Lotto.
Big
you know what I'm
Lotto.
saying? With Triple OG, man. Stacey is the one who
Can
comes
I
up.
give you a little
Yeah.
little sneak? So
Okay.
me and Lotto met at Keith Sweat's house. Keith was doing something with Teddy Riley.
Okay.
And Lotto came in, he had some gear, and I was like, man, I like that, man. And we started, hitting it off and just laughing at the same jokes. And we've done so many things, but because of my relationships, man, my man about to be in the airport.
Wow.
Man,
He about to
Triple
be-
OG about to be in
he
there.
about to be
Hey,
in
man,
there.
give it up, man.
As a matter of fact, he's going to be in 3 airports.
Hey, Ryan.
Wow.
You've helped so many people from the city of Atlanta and been behind the scenes. You don't never blow your horn on a lot of stuff, man. Like, you've helped hip hop scene. You've helped blow up a lot of artists from Outkast to T.I. to a lot of guys, man. Like, what's your proudest moment and who has given back to you and given you credit, for that you can think off top?
I mean, I think when Luda got his first Grammy, he thanked me on the Grammy stage, and I appreciated that. And Elle, because she's the god up at ESPN right now, always gives
proud
me
of her.
credit. Rashawn always gives me credit. CJ. But for me, man, it's always been really about if you keep score, you ain't gonna never win. So if I start saying, man, I did this for you and you ain't never do all that, and if I did this, I've never been a person who kept score, man. I just feel like, if you keep doing stuff, people eventually will notice you. And I got stuff, like you was asking me how we started the interview, what do I have coming up? I have learned, and you should know this from being in the music business, you don't say nothing until the ink dry.
Man, that's so true. That's so true.
Because it's so many things that have been, you supposed to do this, or you supposed to do that, and then somebody either flake or try to sabotage it. And so, I was hoping that it was going to be ink by the time I got here so I could break it, but it ain't. It's at the legal point now, but we got some stuff coming, man. We do.
All right, well, we're
Man.
going to support it.
No, I just wanted to say, like, talking about the things that you've done for
Yeah.
people. Like, I'm in a season right now where God is working on me on a word that I feel like all of us need to learn and need to take under our everyday thought process, service.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that you just embrace being a service to people, to help people. We've seen you do so many things in the community. I know you can't talk about any business things, but do you have like anything community?
I mean,
that
kind of
you could talk about.
Go hand in hand. I mean, when I opened Ryan Cameron's Doughboy in South DeKalb Mall.
South DeKalb Mall, East Side, Keller Road. Yes, sir.
I haven't tried.
from the
I
East
did read about this.
Well, see, it's right up 20. Be rich. You
I'm
can
gonna go check it out.
Get your chauffeur.
No,
Pull
I'm
down
good.
below, and now don't dry yourself don't dry yourself because once you get mobbed, you're gonna need a way to get out of there. When they be rich.
I know what time it is. That's right. You know. Ryan know what time it is. I knew somebody would see it.
Let me tell you something, man. When I opened it in South DeKalb Mall, which has been there since 1968,
Whoa.
a lot of people were like, yo, man, why would you, man, I ain't been in that mall in 30 years. Ain't nothing in there but jewelry stores and Foot Locker. And I was like, that's the exact reason why. Because, what I've learned, and you guys are both businessmen, if you follow the highway, watch the streets, watch the development of the highway. If you got a raggedy road and then all of a sudden they get paved, the development is coming.
Yeah.
So you look how we used to ride up 20. 20 would you be man, and now
That's smart.
it's coming. So they got a development that's coming, and what's going to happen is if you look at those anchor stores that used to be there,
Yes,
you look at those anchor stores.
Macy's.
That's the same thing they did with 120 Ralph McGill Boulevard, which is where V103's original home was.
Yeah.
You put up sheetrock, you plumb it up, and you sell them as condos.
Yeah.
Think about those floors. I mean, you could do one of those. They could do this in Riches. Because all you gotta do is put up walls and make them condos. Yeah. So you talk about a mixed-use development that's gonna happen because at this point, people are tired of the traffic, man. They can't. So going into the mall, as opposed to people saying, man, that was dumb, it really was smart. And so, you know, come on out there, and now we partnered with Magic City, and we got the Magic City Wings. You know, shout out to Magic City Kitchen for all the people who can't make no excuse to their wife, but I need to go get some wings.
So you got Magic City Wings at the Doughboy.
Yeah, we got Magic City Wings at the Doughboy.
Y'all hear that? You got Magic City lemon pepper Lou.
Everything but lemon pepper Lou.
Hey Lou,
that's got to stay at Magic City. Shout out to Loma, you know, who's the brainchild behind that. But every other flavor we get out there, and you can order Uber Eats or Grubhub if you don't want to come in the mall. You know, they'll deliver. They'll deliver. We within 30 minutes, bro.
Man, I'm gonna go there. And
We'll be rich. Order some Doughboy for the crew. For the crew.
I'm gonna put on my store. I'm gonna add Ron, see if you share it.
Yeah, come on, man. You ain't gotta do all that. We've been open.
Share it.
Listen, we've been open over a year, man. I'm kind of salty with you. You know, you ain't been out there. You ain't know about it.
I haven't been.
Zoom in on my face.
He said, zoom in on his face.
Hey, can we end it in the episode again and mention the...
Most definitely, man. Come on, man.
I got you.
Come on.
Hey, so listen, I wanna go into sports, but before I go into sports, man, it's a couple of times we've run into this past before I got into music. So you used to have something on Fridays where you have the listeners come in.
Yeah.
And I was one of the listeners, man, and that kind of got my bug to want to do. I was a pharmaceutical rep, and I wanted to.
You was a drug dealer.
I was a legalized drug dealer.
Yeah.
And I wanted to.
Pharmaceutical rep.
That's what made me just be intrigued into becoming into the lifestyle of hip hop, with becoming a manager, or just doing radio or whatever. Just watching you, and then I don't know if you remember this.
Who you first met? Who was the first guy I introduced you to? What celebrity?
I don't. It wasn't a celebrity.
I thought it was Method Man.
No, it wasn't Method Man. I forgot who it was.
I thought you told me it was Method Man. Go ahead, my bad.
But I do remember you and your buddy. I used to work at the Braves game. I don't know if you remember this. And we was playing the Cubs, and you had to come in and call, you. It was a little thing you can call an inning of a baseball game.
Yeah.
I was the guy that set up and you know that recorded you and gave you your tape.
Yeah.
And you paid. Do you remember calling an inning at the Braves?
I talked about this yesterday.
What BS?
I promise you on God, when Big Boy was in the Braves thing the other night and was talking about, I know that who I think it is, right? I said, man, I was in the studio. I was in the Braves game with Pete Van Wieren and Skip Carey.
Okay.
And I said I had a show on Turner, and they was like, you was in the booth. I said, I promise you, man, I forgot what that comedy show or whatever I had on Turner. Yeah. So I just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah. I was there, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We gave you a tape of the.
I know. And the thing about me, man, if I had to go back and write myself a letter when I was young, it's like, man, please quit throwing stuff away or get a storage room because I have no idea what that tape is, and I sure wish I had it because those guys were legendary.
All right. So look.
Yeah.
I want to take it to sports, man, and I want to understand something, man. Like the Atlanta Hawks. I'm a big Atlanta Hawk fan.
He's a big Trae Young.
I'm a big Trae Young fan. I've been a Hawk fan since Neat.
Yeah.
And so. I know you was there with Lloyd Pierce. I was a fan of Lloyd Pierce, and then from there, what's going on, man? What's going on with Trae Young? What's going on with the owners? Why did Travis Schlink leave? Like, what the hell is going on, bro? And why aren't you the announcer there no more?
Hey, man, I answer the last question first.
All right.
I think a 20-year run. Was magnificent. I think through the heyday, y'all was asking me about, what some favorite moments. I think that time when Kyle hit like 7 threes in a row, and I called all of them for three. I mean, that's on YouTube and out there everywhere. But for 20 years, I missed 3 games in 20 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
So. For that time period, man, it was incredible. It was an incredible time to be a Hawks fan and those teams with the J Smooths and all those nicknames and, the Za, Patchouli, all those things that I came up with. But
you came up with the J Smooth?
All that's
man, I didn't know that. I didn't know you came up with it. I'm sorry.
That's me, J Smooth.
That's hard.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
hard.
Hey, when I heard it on NBA 2K for a three, was that you?
that is me on NBA 2K.
Wow.
So when you become what they call a legendary PA announcer, that's when you had 10 years or more. Then that's when, actually now they got the game where you could play. I did all the teams for all, all the leagues. And so you can play Lakers versus Hawks and use me as a PA for both of them. So I had people who was like, man, I just got you. I've got Hawks against Hawks. I say, no, you can use any other team because once you become a legendary person, like this year, I didn't do any voices, but my contract is through 2026. So they send me like 10 games. Because I'm still on there, So that was a big deal. But I still think, B Rich, that the Hawks are always going to be outsized until they get somebody to go in there and handle them things. I mean, I think Clint Capella has been a great fit. But I just think they're gonna get pushed around, man. I mean, I remember one year I met somebody and they was like, they the strength and conditioning coach, and I was like, man, you supposed to be a little bit bigger than that,
Man,
bro.
I look at it like this.
Hey.
I look at it like this, Ryan. I don't blame the players. I blame the management, man. They're not getting no one to play with Trey. I feel like the DeJounte Murray, I liked him a lot. But it just wasn't the right fit for him, man. And we gave up those three first-round picks. We could have gave that up for Ant-Man, man, or something. You know what I'm saying? When he was, the number 1 overall pick.
Well, when you look at all these pieces, man, you say, it's like us sitting here at this table, trying to play spades. It ain't gonna work because we missing somebody. That's the Hawks.
Man, he might have snapped.
So is Trey Young that difficult to play with? I like Trey Young. What's going on? Like I haven't got it. When I met him, he was cool.
Listen, man, I say when, I remember I did Trey's first interview post-game, and he came up to the table, and he's like, what am I supposed to say? And that's how young he was. But now, as he's a seasoned veteran, and he got all that money, man, and, people change. I mean, I don't know how. Now he's a family man and settled down. He may be more than people expect. I mean, but when he bought that $30 million house in L.A., that just don't make no sense. Why would you do that unless you got plans to maybe one day try to make that move? I can't speak for the man, but I think that the Hawks, they raised their season ticket prices, so they're expecting something to happen. So I don't know who it's going to be, but as opposed to no really big moves.
That's what I don't.
They didn't make. Neither did the Lakers. I mean, when you got people who are kind of sitting back waiting to see what the team's going to do, and there's no splash. I think people kind of are kind of anticipating something to happen, and who knows, it might.
Well, let me ask you: if you were the GM, what would you do?
You know what, man? I stay in my lane.
I feel you on that.
And when you talk about decisions, because once I start, hearing about analytics and how they talk about people's and personal lives and their ability to do this and their ability to cope with that and all those things, that's when you get into. Because my SEO.world company, it's based. My man Peter Sorkoff. It's based on behavioral sciences.
Okay.
And basically, if you go to SEO.world, you will see all these different things where people will relate to their situation based on their upbringing. And if you don't know how somebody was brought up, you don't know how they're going to handle the situation. Yeah. So, if me and Peter, we kind of, he's from Canada. We bonded on the fact that he said, my wife has one thing that she has to do all the time. And he's like, what? And he's like, whenever I open the refrigerator, it's got to be full. It's got to have, it can't be no empty spaces. And I was like, why? He's like, because, man, I just remember me and my mom making Kraft macaroni and cheese. And I was like, man, your mom made Kraft macaroni and cheese. And so we started bonding from that point, because he was like, when you don't have nothing and you get something, it's going to change you. So you can't. How am I going to tell a player who, look at the money they making, man? You talking about people making 250, 300 million.
Yes.
What am I going to tell you? If you got 300 million in the bank, how inspiring am I going to be to you? So it's got to be somebody where you bring somebody in where it's like they make as much money as you are, or they're coming from somewhere else, and you can look up to them and say, I got all these championships, I got all these things. Like, I don't care what nobody say about radio. You can't, these rings.
Let me check out that ring.
You can't say nothing.
Yeah.
Because the ring don't lie. That's real. That's real
the
hard.
Radio Hall of Fame?
And the Georgia Hall of Fame right there. The rings don't lie. So people can say all they want to say, and you ain't this and you ain't that. But at the end of the day, man, the hardware is the hardware.
Let me sit down.
Man, in the Radio Hall of Fame. Man.
How that feel?
You know what? It feels great, man, because considering that I started off as a kid who had a speech impediment. You know, I
Really?
was my R's, my W's were reversed, and I was saying water and Ryan and I was at Collier Heights Elementary School, and they took 10 of us to Clark Atlanta University, and basically it was like hooked on phonics. So they took us there and they read taught us all these different ways to say words, and I came back and they played the tape on Clark Atlanta University radio. This is how they sounded before, this is how they sound now. And the first time I was sitting in my grandfather's living room, I heard my voice on the headphones. I said, man, that's what I want to be on the radio. And I was in, third grade?
Wow.
Yeah, man. So
you knew.
But I'm saying to come from that to Hall of Fame, man, I didn't have those expectations.
Hey, well, to me, Ryan, I still feel like you old Atlanta and new Atlanta. I really feel like you could be the top slot.
It's not even old. It's not even old or new.
I
It's
still
just
like you Atlanta, bro. Like
So,
I don't understand. Like you should have the number one slot, man.
Look, we
number
look,
one slot.
Look,
I
we
swear
had
to God, bro.
we had a conversation about what we were talking about. If we had to put together a Mount Rushmore of our entertainers
I remember that.
from
we
Atlanta,
said
and
bro.
I appreciate that.
your name, and I
Appreciate
said,
that.
man, Ryan, man, he played the soundtrack to a lot of
I
our
gotta find
lives
that
growing
episode and
up.
send
You
it
know
to
what I
me.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just appreciate it. You know, I really
appreciate it,
can't
bro.
say it enough. Having you on the show, like, I'm not saying it to give you any kind of just lip service or attaboy. You definitely were one of my dream interviews.
I appreciate you,
because,
man.
Like you inspired me to want to do this years ago, but I didn't try to chase it.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
I tell
Until
people
at this point in my life.
I say this all the time, man. You know, dreams don't have deadlines.
You're right
If
about
you got a dream, you know, I came up with the idea of voicing the airport 9 years ago.
Oh, I did hear you at the he's at the airport. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I presented
that the other
that
day.
to the administration, and it sat, and then Andre said, "Man, let's try to see if we can make it work." And one of the things that I you know, sometimes you'll take offense to something, but you don't realize that it's deeper than what you think. So my agent at the time, Norm Shrut, may he rest in peace. He was like 89, 88. He was like, wanted me to come and work at Star 94. He's like, man, Star 94 wants you to come over here and work. I was like, man, I can't work in no Star 94. He said, you know, Ryan, you don't understand. You're racially ambiguous. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? He was like, no one can really tell if you black or white. And I was like, oh. He said, so your voice can play anywhere. So when I'm in the airport now and I'm watching people react to it, or I'm listening to it, and I was like, okay, so that's what he means, because it's just the voice, right? Yeah. But what's funny is all my friends, like the only one that resonates with them is the sex trafficking one. And I'm like, hey man, you know, let them people go, bro.
That's what you say.
I'm saying that to them. No, I tell my friends that, man, I just heard you talk about sex trafficking. I say, man, let them people go, man. I don't know what you got going on, but don't try to get on that plane.
Hey, so look, man, I know we got to wrap it up, but two things. I want you to do a blast from the past, from a memory, from a sports memory. But 2020, man, I want to talk about, man, you gave us a scare, man. Like, what happened, man? And like, you know, I don't want that to happen to either one of us. Can you give us some preventatives or you know, some things?
I definitely don't want it to happen to you again.
Well, no, it ain't gonna happen to me no more, because I went to have a basic procedure, and you know, sepsis happens to like maybe 1 in 5 individuals that go into the hospital for anything. So it's a blood infection. So I come home and I'm thinking I'm fine, but one of the signs of sepsis when it starts to affect your blood is you start getting chills. And unlike other things where it progresses to every day, sepsis progresses every hour. So every hour that went by, I was getting worse and worse and worse. I was actually in full sepsis during basketball games and did not know it. You know, I was actually calling games until like in April, and I just felt like, I said, man, I feel like and this is what they always tell people. If you ever, man, I feel like I'm about to die. If you ever feel that way, then that's when you need to, because doctors are going to do a test on it to say, okay, what is this, what is that? You always say, hey, can you test it for sepsis? Because, I mean, Killer Mike said that's what his grandmother died from. I've had other people that found out later on that it was because of something they got in their blood, and it leads to other things. So what happens is once I got the sepsis, it just attacked all my organs. Wow. It just goes for all. And so one of those things was like blood clots. I had a collapsed lung. I had, you know, my father had a heart valve issue that he passed on to me through heredity, so it attacked that. And so when I presented to St. Joseph, man, I didn't know what was going on. And I just remember, getting in the ambulance like, man, I don't know what's going on. And my mother was like, I remember waking up because I was, in a coma. And I was like, man, I got to get home for Easter. And they was like, man, Easter been over. And so basically I got a septic infection from a procedure, and it ended up almost costing me my life, and coming out on the other side of that, I always tell people, all this arguing and bickering about petty stuff is so unnecessary because you never know when it may be your time. But for me, man, it brought about the sense, because remember, this is during the height of the pandemic, right? Yes. So ain't nobody there to hold my hand. Ain't no mama in the room. Ain't no kids in the room. It's just me and the nurses, because this is March of 2020. The whole world had shut down. Yeah. So basically, I was just sitting in the room and just trying to figure out what was going on. And so there was nobody coming in there to say, hey, this is what's happening. And I didn't find out till later on when I saw all the prayers, man. I always go on record and say, man, Atlanta, Georgia saved my life, man, with the prayers.
Yeah, we was all praying for
it was so many things that were going on. But, I say this to people, and you see people that are going on, you got to go and you got to have these checkups. You got to make sure that, especially if you have a family history of anything. Yes. Like if you remember seeing your grandma taking up pressure medicine or all that means you probably got the same issues, though. If you ain't thinking about it, like I told my son this, we was driving the other day, and I'll make it quick. We was driving home, and it was raining. We leaving the Braves game. And he was driving, slower than traffic. And, I said, man, you all right, bro? He's like, no, yeah. I said, can you see? He's like, yeah, I can see. So, as the daddy intuition, I was like, man, we got to get you an eye exam. He's like, I don't need no eye. I said, we went to the eye doctor yesterday, and as soon as he came out, he was out there trying on glasses. I said, what happened, bro? He said, man, they say I got astigmatism and blurry vision at night, and I need to have it. I said, cause your mama got it, I got it, your grandmama got it. Like, why you think the blindness gonna skip you? You know what I'm saying? You out there like super sleep. You can see everything. So I'm like, the DNA is in all of us, man. You got to know your family history to understand what's going on. So yeah, sepsis is real. It happens to so many people. So many people don't succumb. I think, it's about a 60-40 chance if you actually go into septic shock that you survive that. So I'm just blessed to be here, bro.
Yeah. Man, glad you're here, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, the city of Atlanta love you, man.
Yeah,
and God, like you said, and I already know you know this, but I feel like I have to say it for those who may be watching who are still trying to find it. Yes, it was just you. There was no family there, and it was nurses. But you already know it was one more important person there in that room.
Most definitely, man.
And that's God. You good over there, B-Mac? Oh, yeah. Ryan, have you ever met B-Mac?
What's up, man?
Fat man.
What's going on, bro?
Two-time Super Bowl winner with the Steelers,
What's happening, man? You good?
Yeah,
hey, man, I appreciate you, bro.
Post-career, man, he been killing it, man, as well, man. He blessing us with his presence today, man.
All right, man, so I'm excited. This is something that we like to do, man. We like to do a blast from the past. So, if you could take a Atlanta sports memory, man, a play that you can remember, man, I'd like for you to do that. And, Trey, you can start the music now. Let's go. Where we at?
I think the one that sticks out was Matt Ryan threw a pass, or he either scrambled, and, people always wait for Matt to fall down. It was like, it wasn't going to be if he was going to fall down. It was like when he was going to fall down, whenever he scrambled. But he did some kind of move and got to the end zone. I just remember on the microphone saying, that's my quarterback. And
who were we playing?
Man, I might have been the Saints or somebody like that, but they made it into a promo, and that was like a really big deal. And on NFL Films, man, Pastor Troy, who ain't nothing, man, but a good friend. But it always be your friends that try to do the little shady stuff. So we always, I've been going to the Saints Falcons game for more than 20 years. I actually didn't trademark it, but I'm the first person to put "We Dat" on the T-shirt. And so when everybody started saying "We Dat," I was like, man, I came up with this 15 years ago.
Service once again.
Yeah, service, giving away free. So we were down there playing the Saints, man, and NFL Films was this is when Ricky Williams had put on that wedding dress
with Mike Dicker.
Yeah, and was on the cover with that wedding dress on, and I'm up in the stands, and I mean it's the 90s, and I'm like, Ricky Williams, where's your wedding dress? Ricky Williams is a lady. And that made NFL Films. And Pastor Troy put up on his page the other day. I say, man, you can't be saying stuff like that in 2024. But he was like, man, that's how long the rivalry been going on. I was like, why you can't put something you did up there? Why you put me up there, man?
We gotta find that one.
If
Right?
you go on his page, man, I'm like,
Well, you know what, man? So I don't know. We should clip that one up because Ryan didn't seem like he really wanted that one.
I mean, it's on NFL Film, so I can't do nothing about it. It's out there in perpetuity. I mean, I ain't gonna post it, but yeah, I feel
We're gonna clip that one, right?
Yeah, you better.
Look, we're gonna add you as a collaborator.
No, hey,
Ryan said, hey, man, the ink ain't dry.
I see.
Nah, man. Hey, look, man. I could talk to you for 2 more hours, man, but I know you got to get to where you got to go.
Got to pay these bills, man.
Yeah, man.
But I really appreciate you coming down here. It's an honor, bro. Like Trey said, like you're one of our dream interviews, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do that for us, man.
Yeah.
Real.
Like, I do have a favor to ask.
Yeah.
Before we end.
Sure.
I have 2 boys, 9 and 12, about to be 10 and 13, Christian and Carter. They both speak a lot at church, at school, but sometimes they come to me and still ask me, Dad, what's my gift? And I try to tell them that their speaking is one of their gifts. Can you, a person who is a legend, using his voice, can you just tell us that Christian and Carter embrace your gifts? Could you tell them that in that? Would you mind telling my boys that?
I mean, Christian and Carter, I'll say this to you, man. My grandfather was such a man's man. He would take the Sunday paper, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and would just hand it to me and make me learn the paper. That's why people always say, how do you able to tell these stories? It's because he would make me regurgitate the story. What's going on in sports? What's going on with the Braves? What's going on? And I would have to tell him the story. So that's how I learned how to read copy and to read aloud, because he was like, I don't want to do that. And so he made me do that. So I read the announcements at the school. They always had to come out there to read the announcements.
Did you read the lunch menu?
I read the announcements at church. The sick and shut in and all that. And so I say to you, your gift is that you got to keep on going out there till you find your lane, right? And I'm reading a book, and it talks about being able to communicate with anybody. And the key to it, they say, is keep asking questions, make a connection, and then go in that direction. Keep asking questions, make a connection, and go in that direction, because eventually something is going to resonate, and you're like, oh, and then y'all going to connect on something. But every time I get in the elevator at work, I don't care who, I'm going to ask them something. It's always like, and so, to your boys, I say this, man, you're going to find it. Just keep trying everything until you find something that's passionate about. People say, how do you feel about doing the radio now? I said, man, like it's my first day. I don't even think ever, like, I've been doing it this long. I still remember being in the lobby at V103, and I was on with Kenny Diamond in the nighttime, and my internship didn't start until 6 o'clock. But I was in the radio station in the lobby at noon.
Wow.
Every day, because I was just so glad to be
so passionate,
just so be happy, to be in that number, man. So to y'all before we close, man, it's so many people that do podcasts and they don't have the energy to do it. They may do 1 or 2 and then it be gone. So to be in episode 25 is kudos, man. That means that y'all ain't start fighting. Y'all still like each other. You know how to answer the questions. I tell you one thing, me and Big Ray on Ryan Cameron Uncensored, and we syndicated now. When we're looking, we got to nod. That's when I know you go on and get in there. Or it's you gotta make sure you're looking at each other. And if you lost or something, you're like we'll have some people on. We got people on, and we'll both be asking questions. And and then he'll know to get in, and he'll look at me. It's like you got to be able to know the room.
So we're learning that. We're learning that.
It's a simple little thing. If he look over there, and like I always say, anybody who interviews me, if you don't, I'm Googleable. You can find out all the stuff that you want to know, but. People who, like the news people now, they start looking at their phones. I'm like, yo, man, if you want to do this, you got to know what you're talking about. It ain't but 3 minutes. It's maybe 2 minutes. So if you don't know what to do for 2 minutes, then you might need to change and go to another career, because it ain't that much, to try to, for you to spit that right there, bro, I'm going to figure out a way. I'm telling you, I'm gonna figure out a way. But I appreciate it, man. The Waterboyz, man. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. And shout out to everybody who's watching and listening and viewing, man. But it's hard talking to yourself. So if you got a partner, then it's always good. Like I said, the odds and the cues, you might start kicking them up on the table, whatever it is. I'm telling you, when I used to do live television, right, I would always tell the person, we live. I said, if I step on your shoe, you got to shut up. Because they only showing me from waist up. So we be talking, and so what do you think, B. Rich? And then I step on your foot. Oh, and then you know to shut up. I tell you all that ahead of time. It's really just creative spontaneity. It sounds like you're making it up, but you're really not.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks
Well,
for
Ryan,
the
thank
chance,
you
man.
once again. Listen, y'all, we just brought Atlanta to you once again. Give it up for Ryan Cameron, man. We got Atlanta right here. So look, man, what you got? Something you want to say right
How
quick?
much time you got? You got to leave now?
What time is it, man?
12:30.
We got B-Man.
You got 1 minute?
too.
You got 1 minute?
Yeah, I got 1 minute.
All right. It's Friday, man. We got to do the Friday song, bro. You got to do the Friday
Okay.
song.
All
man.
right, man. We'll do it.
Come on, Ryan. Start it off, man.
Well, you gotta, the whole subject is you gotta, y'all ain't got nobody being on the table, man.
Well, we can't because the mic's right here.
Okay.
Get on your chest.
Hey, we don't need to beat. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day.
Be rich.
It's on you.
So
What you gonna do?
I'm going to go to the pharmacy and get my mama some medicine and bring it to her.
Let's do it again. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Yo, Trey, it's on you. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Look, I'm gonna get my podcast on. I'm gonna get my podcast on. Then I'm gonna head back to the house and get my family on. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Yo, Ryan, it's on you. You laughing.
So what you gonna do? I don't know what to say.
I'm gonna get my radio on, and I'm gonna get my eat on, and I'm gonna get my drink on all weekend long like this.
Friday, it's Friday, it's the end of the week and the last day. And Lord knows we butchered this song.
I did, man. Hey, thank you, bro.
I'm going to the pharmacy and get my mom some medicine.
He just put his mama all out there. She like, I might not want anybody to know.
Hey, man.
I don't want the folks at the church to know I'm on medicine.
I keep it real. Nah,
I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking.
Why y'all didn't put me in the song?
I mean,
Time, we gotta go. Gotta
yeah,
go,
man. Yeah, we got to go. Hey, well,
Appreciate
look.
y'all.
Well, look, man, we thank Ryan Cameron for coming out on behalf of Trey, myself, B. Rich, and Aaron. Whoa, Pittman, the Waterboyz Show. We are out.
kill the camera.